We're going to do some more order of operations today, but this time we're adding in exponents. We did not have those on day one. It was grouping. We used parentheses. This time we're using exponents. Now remember, order of operations does not change. It's still PEMDAS. Parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide, add or subtract. And again, we're going left to right. So what you need to remember is what an exponent is. And I'm going to write that in a different color. Exponent means multiply the number by itself. Okay? So if you see 5 raised to the third power, 5 is called the base. You're going to hear this terminology again. 3 is the exponent. And this means 5 times 5 times 5. It does not mean 5 times 3, crisscross. It means 5 multiplied by itself 3 times. All right, I'll leave that on the notes. Make sure you get that. Let's go into the math. So order of operations. There are no parentheses here, so we can check that one off. But there is an exponent. You do it first. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. That's step 1. Then bring down the rest. It's 8 times this. There we go. So exponents are done. Multiply or divide. Even though we go left to right, you don't add those two. You don't add 8 and 9. You multiply. 8 times 9 is 72. So we check that off. The last step is to add them. So you are going to do things in mathematical order, not necessarily in the order in which they're written. That one you've really got to pay attention to. We are going to create problems on purpose to make you really think. So remember, it's not 9 plus 8, then times 3, then you square the whole thing. You do exponents first. Change colors. Okay, let's do the next one. Again, we are still moving left to right. Parentheses, nope, so we'll check it off. Then we have an exponent, 2 to the third power. Means 2 times 2 times 2. This is 8. And we're going to play around with this a lot more in Unit 7. Okay, and I'm just bringing everything down. Okay, I'm doing no more math. I'm just bringing everything down. Did my exponents. Now, we don't add 24 and 8 first. We do not do that. We do 8 divided by 8, which is 1. Then I bring down 24. Check off that one. 24 plus 1 is 25. Done. Circle that answer, different color. You can stop the video if you want and then do them, but you're going to have some practices a little later. Okay, so next one. This big dot doesn't mean anything different. It's still another way to say multiplication. It just happens to be a big dot. Don't know why it came out that way. So do not add 2 plus 3. Do 5 to the third power. 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. And I'm sure you're dazzled that I know that. Be impressed. Okay. Then you have 3 times 125. 2 plus 3 times 125. I just bring down the rest of the equation. All right, you multiply first. 3 times 125 is 375. And we still have to add our 2. 377. I always write my 7s like that. As I said in the last lesson, I really recommend you write things out. Write out each step until you get really solid with this, because I don't want you to make mistakes that are not necessary. Last one on this page. 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. Then I'm just going to bring down everything else. Okay, then the order of operations, we multiply and divide first. 64 divided by 16 is 4. That's why I'm a math teacher. Still bringing down 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. Now remember, if this is too fast, you can just stop it, study it, shoot me an email if you need to, okay? Let's go to the next page. Now the integer rules. We use the word integer when we talk about numbers that could be positive or negative, all right? Integer means the number's positive or negative. We use both of them. Let's look at some rules. When you are subtracting, you add the opposite and follow addition rules. Okay, when they're opposite. So, same signs, you add and keep the signs. Different signs, you subtract and keep the signs. So let's get some examples. Same signs. -3 minus 5. Add the numbers. What's 3 plus 5? It's 8. And keep the sign. -8. Okay? Add the opposite is subtracting and adding. Different signs. Subtract and keep the sign of the higher one. Okay? Let's do -2 plus 6. What is the difference between 6 and 2? The difference between 6 and 2 is 4. Keep the sign of the higher one. The higher absolute value is 6. It's positive, so your answer is 4. There is also a number line above the bulletin boards in my classroom if you never get confused. Now, this one's my favorite. Multiplying and dividing. Same sides are always positive. Negative times negative equals positive. Positive times positive equals positive. Different signs or mixed signs, negative. Whether you're multiplying or dividing. So if you have a positive number divided by a negative number equals a negative number. Okay? A negative number times a positive number equals a negative number. That's a number sign. Yes, this existed before hashtags. Okay? So when you are multiplying and dividing, positive numbers and negative numbers, what they are and how they are together makes a difference. The more practice you get, the better. All right, let's take a look at this one. And you know what? Order of operation still counts. It doesn't change. It's still there. Okay, the first thing we do, is there anything to do in the parentheses? No, there is not. -4 is in a parentheses, but there's no mathematical operation happening with it. So we go next to exponents. Do you see any exponents in here? I don't, not in the first one. Oh, there we go. Going left to right. So there are no exponents to do. Let's look at multiplying and dividing. Well, -8 minus 16 we can't do yet. Can't do that yet. But we can do -16 divided by -4. Now here's where I'm going to give you two options. They're both mathematically sound, whichever one works for your brain. Okay? Get ready. All right, here we go. You can do it, and I'm going to do this blue. You can do it this way and do 16 divided by -4, and that becomes -4. And then you have -4, -8 minus -4 becomes -8 plus 4 becomes -4 is total answer. But you can also do, and guys, I don't know which one's going to work best for you, okay? You can also do, I'm going to write it over here, okay? -8 minus 16 divided by -4. Let's say you do Negative 16 divided by negative 4. That's positive 4. So then you have negative 8 plus 4. It's still negative 4. There are two ways for you to look at this, and I want to show you both ways, not to confuse you, but so you see that sometimes we can do things a little different but still get the right answer. Both ways are mathematically sound. They're completely correct. It's what works for you. And so if you have questions, I'll go over this in the classroom. My remote students can zoom in, and we can explore this a little further if necessary, all right? Both ways are good. Both ways give you, if you notice, the same answer. Okay, let's go to the next question. It's a little simpler because it's a little clearer. Negative 12 divided by positive 3 would be a negative 4. I'm going to do this because I'm still subtracting it. Remember what I told you last lesson? I sort of told you this. Putting something in the parentheses does not change it. But look at the problem. See how you've got minus negative 12? If we didn't have the parentheses there, it would be really easy to be confused. So that's why the parentheses are there. Okay, and I told you this one last time. Minus a negative, when we have that up here, means this is a positive. So negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. I hope your brains aren't melted yet. You got a long way to go. Okay, breathe. Okay, next one. Okay, you try. Now what I want you to do right now, I want you to stop this recording and you try the problems. Okay, you should be back. And I'm sure every single one of my students tried the problems. And every single one of my students, if they got it wrong, showed their work so they can find out what went wrong. Order of operations. Division before subtraction. Negative 16 divided by positive 4 is negative 4. I'm putting in parentheses so I don't get my negatives confused. Now, I'm still bringing down the rest of it. Okay? I didn't use up this negative sign that I just dotted around. I didn't use that up. It still goes down there. Okay? And remember, minus a negative, you connect them and make it plus. So negative 12 plus 4. Let's go back up to this. I'm not going to draw a big old arrow. Let's go back up to this rule, though. Subtract them and keep the sign of the higher absolute value. Okay, what's 12 minus 4? Well, it's 8. Okay, look at those two. 12 is bigger than 4, right? So you keep it negative, negative 8. If you learned to add or subtract negative numbers a different way, but you still come up with the same answer I do it your way. You do not have to change it as long as you are right, okay? Many ways to do math. I will accept your way as long as you are mathematically sound. Last problem on this page. Negative 15 divided by negative 5. Again, see how it's in the parentheses? Just because if we wrote it like this, I'm going to write it over to the side. It's too easy to miss the negative or to think, oh, it's supposed to be a longer line. That's why we do it. So I'm just going to scribble this out. Negative 15 divided by negative 5. The same signs. Right there. Right there. Different signs. Oh, I'm sorry, same signs. Wow. It's been a long day, guys. I'm going to tell you that now. It's been a long day. All right. There we go. Same signs. The answer is positive. It's a positive 3. Because I did negative 5. I made my imaginary brackets, just like I did in the first one. These are kind of the same. And then I have negative 10 plus 3, which is negative 7. Shall I try it the other way? Sure, Mrs. Gates. Okay, let's do it the other way. I'm going to rewrite the problem. Negative 10 minus 15 divided by parentheses negative 5. Okay? Remember, I showed you two different ways. I'm going to do 15 divided by negative 5, which is negative 3. Put that in parentheses. I bring down the minus sign. Okay? This becomes plus, because it's minus and negative. The difference between 10 and 3 is 7. The 10 is bigger, so it is negative 7. It is still the same. You do it either way you want to, all right? Either way is right. I do want you to show your work. It's going to help you a lot. All right, that's all I've got for this one.